before I head to the next portion of the paint for this is going to be pretty straightforward. I'm probably going to do some silver tips with some black and white stripes. Pretty straightforward. But before I do any of that, what I really want to do is start to work on the body for this airplane. And before any of that happens, I need to have a body for it. So I'm going to use this guy. I've got my glue gun glue sticks heating up. I'm not going to leave as much room as I normally do in front of the motor, guys. You'll see why momentarily here. And the reason I'm not leaving as much room for the motor is this CG is better than most. So again, I'm going to follow my simple rules. This goes level to the bottom. This goes level to the top of the spar. Just like that, guys. So if you look closely, it's on an upward angle here. That's what we want to achieve. Also, these glue guns, these big ones, get really hot. So I actually recommend, because the glue can actually get hot enough to melt the foam, guys, what I actually recommend is doing exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so now we got that one. Smooth the glue. Hold that to level. Hold this one to its position, like so, and then just wait. And you'll see that they come out pretty close. So now is your final chance. Oh, look at that. It seemed to have done very well. I've got both the trailing edges at the base, and I've got both the forward edges at the top of the spar. That's what you want to see, guys. This way, if you look from the front, you can see clearly that your wings are now going to produce some lift. We're also going to angle this down now, because now I'm making the leading edge lip on the plane, and that's about all I'm going to do, believe it or not. I'm also going to slightly arch these a little, just a touch, like this, so that it more has the profile of a bird wing, very slightly. Okay, now we're going to take the stern portion of this, and I'm going to right away put my tail plane on it. And in this case, this one's going up top. Now the real trick is to make sure that it's centered on your spar. Right here. You really want that tip to be dead centered, and then you want the whole thing aligned. So come along the top side, I find works. Make sure it's perfectly centered, and then just run your fingers along and it will be lined up. Now take it from here and you can lean it a little bit, and this is looking perfect. Now, I'm going to take this one, and I'm actually going to place it underneath the spar, not on top. I'm going to place my glue right in the crick here that I made when I folded it in half, and I'm going to place it all the way to the back of the spar, guys. All the way. Now what you'll notice is that this model is not intended to be 4-channel. In fact, I built this knowing that I'm not going to have 4 channels where the servos right away. This is going to have to be a 3-channel layout. So I decided that I would do an aileron and elevon setup, so it'll have these guys, no ailerons, and it'll all be driven by the tail. I'll see if that can work. If not, which it could. But I'm also at the point where I can do the other thing, where I can just run these guys as an elevator and cut ailerons, and I can do it that way too. It all depends on what I have. But because I want to do this as a 2-servo setup, one underneath each wing, it'll have ailerons when it needs to and elevator when it needs to, all here. And then I will cut a tail onto it maybe and do a tail. I'm not sure yet, not 100%. For now, I'm going to start with the minimum number of channels. So we've got our base aircraft. I have found that if you're going to be able to CG it, it'll CG at the back of the wing, just like this one. Right at the back of the wing, guys, it CGs perfectly. And that's going to change as we add electronics and the weight of the motor and all that stuff. But this is a good look. I like that it's wood. As far as the spar go, it's very light, guys. This is not a heavy aircraft. So I'm going to take a quick weight here. And I'm just going to check the weight. Oh, that's not bad. We are looking at a 5-gram weight, built and painted. It's actually reading 4.8. So if we can keep this built at that wingspan, at that weight, that's actually a really nice weight, guys. So I'm going to take a look right quick here, and I'm going to read you off my wingspan. We are looking here at just over 10 inches. So as you can see, this is going to be in my 10 to 12 inch series. This is going to be what the smaller aircraft in this series are like. And honestly, this thing's going to fly awesome. I know that. In fact, it already flies. I just gave it a quick toss and it threw itself over backwards, which implies that it's getting tons of lift. And this is in a large part coming from this profile. If you look, it's kind of a glider profile. Not quite, but pretty close. And that's a good thing. We want giant wings on this. Also, I'm going to give you some other quick specs. The total length from the tip of the nose to the back, right here. Okay, you can see I'm holding the front in place there. Okay, total length, right here. Okay, total wingspan. Already showed you, but I want to make sure you guys do see it is slightly over 10 inch. So, this will actually hold a fair bit of weight. The body length is nice. I find these brushes are perfect for body length. Now this is just kind of a mock-up. I wanted to put one together, see what it would look like, see where my paint was going to lay out. So I've been giving a lot of thought to how I want my paint to be, and I'm not sure entirely yet. But because it is a slow flyer, and I do want a VG kit, the real problem becomes, now's where I have to plan out in detail how this is going to be. Now the reason I do is because I want certain things out of this package. For one, I very, very much want it to be an easy to manage thing. I want this to be a very slow flying aircraft, which means I need to put VGs on it. Now my problem is, these VGs right here should be in line with the ailerons so that they can create lift in the body and lift at the aileron tips. Okay, well that's all well and good, but in the end I need more than that, okay? I need to make sure that all of these are equal in length. We need to make sure that they are exactly equal. Now, when I put them on the plane, they didn't quite look right, so I just decided to check them. These are going to be placed like this, but on less of an angle, just like this. So they're actually grabbing air and directing it out towards the tips. That's not a bad thing. And with them on kind of a 45-degree angle, they will be perfect. So what you're going to do is you're going to glue them to this back angle and put them here. Now these can go on, and that'll be fine, and they'll do their jobs. But these ones need to be outside the body, and I've decided I want to put a little body on this airplane and make a body out of it, which means I don't want to put any of my VGs on until later. I also haven't 100% decided on my paint scheme, and I'll tell you what, if you're going to paint over top of this glue, it looks really nasty. You're actually better off to paint all the pieces individually and then glue it together. So I want to have this wing set fully painted and the body fully painted before I put on the VGs, which is why I painted them this time. Anyway, the plane's looking good. I'm not got any complaints with how the paint came out, except that I took way too long to do it and way too many layers because I was showing it to you guys. That is okay. That's why I'm doing this series, is to help you guys learn, and sometimes the best way is to make mistakes and let you guys see the results of those mistakes for yourselves. Just been working on some new wings and stuff. As always, here at RXD, I'm always creating. always coming up with new things. And sometimes I love a classic. I really do. And I like the way that this has come out because it keeps the tail fairly forward. Now, here's the real trick. If I wanted to use this as a control surface, believe it or not, I would have put it further back. I could still put it further back, but this is the continuity that I like to see here, where these come out to about the same level. I like this, okay? I go for this look, and I find that it works just fine. This would be just fine if I wanted to cut a control surface on here and give myself a rudder. I absolutely can do that. There won't be anything wrong with that. I'm probably going to do that and do with the elevons. Elevons and rudder, and you pretty much have a setup so good that you wouldn't really know it didn't have ailerons, because it'll handle like it does. So, that being said, I'm finished for this video. Next will come, I'm going to build a little body for this little feller, but I wanted to show you guys this portion of it, and we'll go from there. I'm going to try and keep these videos really short, guys, and this one's already at 11 minutes, but I think the end result, guys, speaks for itself. I mean, it's a pretty little plane, and it's not done. It's going to be a beautiful color, and look at how well it shows up in the sky. Tell me this won't show up better than any of these other planes. And you're wrong. In the air, this will show up beautifully, but on a blue sky, this will vanish. As flashy as it is, look at the profile, you know, from behind. If it's heading away from you, you'll barely even see the damn thing. But look, I got everything nice and straight. My angles are equal. It's beautiful. It's going to be flying great. So, I'm happy, and I'm done for this video. I will show you more as I do it. The motor that's going to be on this will be between 4.5 mil and 6.5 mil. It will probably be running anywhere between a 250 and 400 mAh, probably towards the 250, 200 side, maybe even as big as a 300. I don't know. It'll all depend on what weight this can take. But with this much wingspan and the amount of lift that I've seen out of this and how quickly it flips itself over backwards, even without the VGs, we got plenty of lift. If I want to go heavy, I can go heavy, and I've got the lift to back that up. So not only do I have enough lift here already, but I'm going to add more so that it'll slow fly better. That being said, we are quite done. I'm going to put this one up. I love it. I'm deeply excited about it. Keith out.